Welcome to Audiobook Loving. The following presentation was filmed in April at the RT Book Reviews Convention. Today we're meeting Kristen Ashley. Welcome, Kristen, and thank you for chatting with us. Could you please tell us about your books?
I have a gazillion series and books out, and I've been writing for about 15 years and publishing for around 8. And some of my most well-known series are the Rock Chicks, the Colorado Mountain series, the Chaos series, the Dream Man series, the Unfinished Hero series, my Fantasyland, the 3. There's more. There's some standalones in there, but I've published, I believe, 51 books. By the time this is out, it'll be 52, with Bounty from the Colorado Mountain series coming out. So I like writing, obviously.
Speaking of writing, why don't you tell us a little bit about your writing style?
I'm what is known in the industry as a pantser. I don't outline or write notes or, have post-it boards with everything's blocked out. If the inspiration comes to me, it will play like a movie in my head, and I just sit down at my computer and tap out what I hear and what I see. And so that's how I do it.
And your characters, do you have a specific kind that you write, or are they depending on the series, or how are your characters?
Well, I only have I have some things that I do normally. The heroine is always strong, and there's always a family around somebody, either the hero or the heroine, and that family is the modern family. It could be blood family, it could be friends, or it could be both. And normally the hero is very alpha, very strong, sometimes quite taciturn, sometimes they talk too much or don't say the right things. But that's pretty much it. Other than that, I kind of let them tell me who they are and what they're about and what their histories are and their baggage and their issues and their dreams.
Awesome. So June is audiobook month. Many, if not most, of your books are now available via audiobooks. Do you listen to audiobooks in general?
I don't, not in general, because I don't have a lot of time. I don't actually read very much either. So, and I want to stop. I want to start doing that. I've been saying that for years, but I am beginning to start finding time to read or making time to read because I love it and I miss it. As for audiobooks, I'd never, until I was approached to have my books made in audio, produced in audio, I didn't really think much about them. A lot of people talked about them and how great they were, especially when you have like long commutes, or you take your walks, or you get on the treadmill and you just lose time because you're in this book. So obviously I started to pay more attention when my books were being put in audio. And every once in a while I'll throw on an audiobook when I'm on a plane, so I can just kind of, everybody wants to lose time in the plane.
That's right.
But that's really kind of the only dead time I've had that I've been able to try it. So I've decided to try to see if walking on the stupid treadmill goes faster.
Let me know how that works out. I tend to kind of get lost in the book, and then I noticed I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing on the treadmill. So it can be a little anticlimactic there,
But it doesn't matter. If you're moving, you're moving.
That's
you
well,
might
at the same
not
time
be sweating or you have your
going,
incline up, but you're still moving, so that's something.
Yeah, exactly. So sometimes the authors are part of the process with the producing of the audiobooks. Were you part of your process for your books?
Yes. For my traditionally published books, the Chaos and Colorado Mountain and Dream Man series, Forever selected the narrators.
Mm-hmm.
For all my independently published books, the Rock Chicks, the Berg series, the Unfinished Hero series, we're putting the Fantasyland series we're putting all my books into audio. All of them are being produced now. I select the narrator.
And how do you go about that process?
Well, they give me. Well, now I actually know a number of them. So if I know the narrator and I feel like they'll work for the heroine, because they're women, they're usually women, I'll just say, really, Susanna Jones is going to work for this. And sometimes Audible will make suggestions to me. For the Fantasyland, they just picked my they're like, this person is going to do great, and I went in and I listened to her samples, and I'm like, I don't even have to audition anybody. I don't have to hear anybody else. She's perfect. But a lot of time, you go through a lot because, especially because you know the character better than anybody, and since my books play like movies in my head, her voice is really strong, and so I know exactly what she sounds like. And it's hard in the billions of people in the world to find somebody with that voice. And the one that really the narrator, and I don't remember her name off the top of my head, but the lady that narrates For You, I went in and listened to the sample after it was released, and I started crying because she was so perfectly Feb Owens. She was just Feb. And so it was a really emotional moment because it was like even just in a voice she was brought to life, and it was cool. It was very cool.
So you do listen a little bit, if anything, to the ones that are your books from a narrator perspective, from once they're done being produced and they're out.
Yes, yeah, a little bit.
Awesome.
Sometimes it's hard because you
they're your books.
Well, yes, and it's unusual because part of the imagination process is taken away. So if you're not used to listening to audiobooks, it's kind of hard to get into them from my standpoint if they're mine. I'm sure it'd be different if I was listening to somebody else's. Mm-hmm. But because that narrative voice is so strong in my head, mm-hmm. I have to have time to settle in.
That's true. So your latest release, Bounty, which is book number 7 in the Colorado Mountain series, released in April 18th. Tell us a little bit about the book and the series.
Well, the series is it kind of organically became about second chances, sometimes for the heroines, mostly for the men, but it's set in 3 towns, fictional towns in the Colorado mountains. So these are small towns away from the hustle bustle of the city, not a lot of traffic, no malls closed or anything like that. So there's a lot of insularity there. There's a lot of locals that have kind of become family. And, of course, crazy things happen. There's killings and kidnappings and serial killers and all sorts of stuff where folks have to find their way through that as they find their way together. Bounty is not a lot of high drama like that. It's a slow burn book. I'm not known for my slow burns, and it was really fun to create a relationship with 2 people that have very sparking chemistry, but they, for one reason or another, they refuse to let themselves be together. In this case, it's the hero that refuses to go there with the heroine. So it takes a little time and then something happens, something dramatic happens, and it all comes together.
You get this spark in your eye when you're talking about the books and stuff. It's like, ooh, the reader like, we want it now. So with this being book 7, can these be read as a standalone, or must they be read in order, or?
I try very hard to make sure every book, even in a series, is a standalone book. Okay. But I will say that to get the most of the series, mm-hmm. you should read them in order, because mm-hmm. I don't divorce myself from the other characters in the series. Okay. So, including the secondary characters. So you will get a dose of people that you've come to know and hopefully love mm-hmm. throughout the series, and so you'll see past couples having babies and moving on in their careers and, moving into new houses or whatever it is that happens. But yeah, I try very hard to make it so if somebody just sees one and they pick it up, mm-hmm. they'll have a good experience just with that one book, and then hopefully want to go back.
That's what I was going to say. Usually what happens is they'll pick it up and then they'll run back and go, oh my God, I must eat it up. Start the series and start over again. So we're in June at this point. What comes next after Bounty?
Well, I'm working on the finale of my Fantasyland series. It's kind of turning out not to be the finale, but I'm writing Franca and Knock's story, and I don't know when I'm going to be releasing that because it's taking a lot longer to write it than I expected, but I'm happy with that because I'm enjoying it, but I want to make sure it's a finale of a series, and you really I need to spend time with them, and I need to make sure that what I give my readers is going to be a satisfying experience. So any finale I write always takes a little bit longer because I just want to make sure that there's a sigh at the end rather than, I wish there was something else that happened there or whatever. So, but I will be doing, and this one, my Fantasyland series is all about heroines going to a parallel universe that is very different from ours, with dragons and people go around in sleighs and on horseback and stuff like that. And so this time the heroine is coming to our world and, learning how to use a phone and order pizza and things like that.
That's an
and it's very fun to do that. I was kind of thinking it's kind of be boring, but it's really fun because you don't really understand how advanced we are. She's even fascinated by how beer, bottles of beer are in our cardboard carrier because she's never seen that before. So it's really cool to be in her shoes and seeing from her perspective. But there's one dangling character that I was going to write a romance alongside Franca and Knox, but I've decided that I like her too much and I like the romance too much to give her short shrift in this book. So I'm going to give her probably a pretty long novella that'll come out next year. And then we'll say goodbye to that series.
Awesome. So that's from that. Any other books that are, I know that you were working on a BDSM, was it?
Yes, I have a book coming out. It's called The Deep End. Mm-hmm. It's going to start a series, and it's a departure for me because I feel that sex is an important part of a romantic relationship, so I don't shy away from that. And my books are pretty steamy already, but this is a different situation because they, instead of sex being part of a relationship that's growing, and then the sex gets better and better as the hero and heroine get to know each other. This relationship grows through the sex, and so it was really, I loved writing it because it was very, very different. But it is very steamy. It's pretty hardcore BDSM. It's an alpha sub. So, so that's you're making a face.
I'm going. Well, it's an interesting, concept and idea. And I'm going. When will it be out? And okay,
I think
pre-orders
it's coming out in March, and we'll soon be having a lot more information about it, cover releases and things like that. And right now, in my head, there's 3 books in the series, and I love it. I read. I've been playing around and not publishing alpha sub stories with dominant heroines, and just not having the courage to go for it. And then I read Joey W. Hill's Natural Law, which is a phenomenal book, and she just handled it so well in her embrace for as a writer for her readers. You're very safe in places you don't think you would be safe. She keeps you very safe, and I hope that I've managed to give that to my readers with The Deep End, because she led me through that story that was very sexy and with great characters. But that's a different world than I'm used to, and it's a different book than I'm used to, and I felt her holding my hand the whole way. So I'm kind of hoping that I do that for my readers too.
I think you do. I love your Unfinished Hero series, and those heroes are very hardcore in what they believe in and how they live. Heroines are also very strong, but I trust you as an author, and that's something. Welcome. And so I know that what I'm reading, it's because you know what you're doing, and then I'm again trusting. And I loved all of them, and the way that you ended the series as well was just phenomenal. Closed all the loops, did all the stuff, and I'm going, I'm so sad that it's over, but it's never really truly over. One day you can come up and say, 5 years from now, the kids or 10 or, however that comes up, whatever's going to come next, you never know. You can always revisit. And that's the thing that I love about the audiobooks is that I can always, I'm like, I need a night. I want to hear him again because, cubicle world can be a little boring at the day job. And so I can always, put on my earbuds and I can listen to the books again via audio instead of, and multitask. And so that's always a good thing. Thank you so much for taking the time.
Well, thanks for your time. Thanks for having me.
So I greatly appreciate it. And I am excited about all the stuff that's coming out. So greatly appreciate
I
it.
hope you love it.
Oh, I'm sure we will, and more to come. You guys will be able to get more information on what's coming at the end of the post. Thank you.